Hi, thank you for joining us. My name is Ashley Needles, and I'm so pleased to have Tilly here with me. She's an amazing writer. You are so great at writing your characters to be funny and lighthearted and writing these cute situations. I am just so glad to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's awesome compliment. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anyway, what do you think is the best thing for a writer to do when they're starting a book?
I'd say be a reader, actually. People who read more and actually write better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What is something that you have struggled with on your journey of writing?
It would be the first time I started writing, it would be point of view. I didn't really understand that, but I read a lot, but I just didn't understand that I needed to be very aware of my point of view. So, for instance, you don't want to do any head popping, or that's when you take the character and you're thinking, the character's thinking one thought, and then you have another character all of a sudden popping in thinking something else, and then you have no idea which character is actually talking in their head. So you want to make sure your point of view is right on. So.
Okay. And do you prefer to write in third person or first person point of view?
I like third person. I like the option of being able to keep things open for adding other characters. I like getting in different people's heads, not just one character's head. So.
And how do you handle the transition?
So italicizing is very important to do when you're doing the narration and then the character's thoughts. You want to italicize those thoughts so that people aren't going, what is going on right now? So italicizing is important.
Yes, it is. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that advice. Are there any words that you struggle with?
Yes, I think that it's interesting because in conversation you'll even notice us possibly doing it, but we'll say like, or we'll say really or very, or there's a lot of extra words like say well. So you can look through those. They have a lot of articles on the internet of unnecessary words that you can take out of your book that'll make it stronger, more direct, and more enjoyable for your readers. So.
Absolutely. I love looking things up online when I have questions. It is so amazing that we have Google these days. I really don't know how Shakespeare survived without computers and being able to press delete.
Well, he's the one that made up all of our fun cliches and different things that we say,
Yeah,
give me a hand, that's not, that's something that Shakespeare said, but it's not, if you said that to somebody, and they didn't understand your language, it's like, are you actually going to physically give me your hand, but he has just different little fun things that now we have in our own language already, so.
Yeah, he added 50,000 words to the English language, actually.
Yes. I actually really enjoy inventing words, too, and I do let my characters invent words sometimes. So it'll be in dialogue, but you don't want to invent words so much, you can let your characters do it, but you don't want to confuse your readers by just putting it in randomly. But I do enjoy occasionally making up one of my favorite words that we've made out as non-sharer. My family would always say, you're such a non-sharer, and that's totally not a word, but it was just fun to say to each other. So, yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
That's fun.
What do you think has been your biggest motivator in writing?
I love, just being able to have that feeling of new love again. It's really fun to and I just I love having my character start talking to me. I know that's really kind of freaky, but it's just fun to have this new imaginary friend that decides they want to have a conversation with me. So that's pretty fun. I love that. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I like it.
Sometimes they go on their own tangents, and I'm like, oh, is that what you were gonna do? Wow, that makes sense that you would do that. But it's not anything I would have totally thought of. But all of a sudden they're like, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And I start writing it. So
that's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
They come to life.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I would love to know what the hardest thing for you for writing is.
Okay, so this is actually a personal problem that I have, and it spills really in depth into my writing. You have to really grow as a person in order to be a great writer. Something really terrible I do in my life is when I'm going through things, I distance myself. I tend to disconnect from my emotions and not feel my feelings. I tend to really just back away and just kind of shut off my emotional nature.
It's safer that way, right?
Much safer. And it makes it so much easier because I used to be very intense and feel things so thoroughly, and then I just at some point in high school was going through so much trauma that I just couldn't let myself feel anymore, and I just turned my emotions off. And then when I go through hard things again, I still do it. So when I'm writing, it's so hard for me to not use exposition, which is when you tell somebody and you don't show them. When I'm writing the dark parts, when I'm writing the hard parts, the really nitty gritty parts of a book. So that's one of the most difficult things for me, is that. So there is a resource that you introduced me to actually that helps with that. It's called the Emotion Thesaurus. It's by Angela Ackerman and by Becca Puglisi or something like that. We have no idea. And I was wondering if you would probably like to hear a little bit about desire. Do you want to hear about desire?
Yes, I totally want to hear about it.
Rather than being like,
yes.
I desire you. I can be like, she stroked her arm very sensually.
So yes, I'd like to hear more.
Okay.
So fun.
Cool. So here are the physical signals of desire. Her lips parting, firm eye contact, hands moistening, stroking one's arm. See, I knew that one.
Tickles really bad.
As a surrogate for the object of desire. Mirroring the object's movements. If a person... I'm not sure if I understand that one. Mirroring the object's movements.
Oh, so like, they've done studies where if you like somebody, you'll start doing like the same thing as them. So I'd be like doing the same thing as you or whatever. You
so it's
like
just the connection.
Just like all this, and then yeah. So
apparently we desire each other because we mimic each other a lot.
Apparently, we're friends. So we're
friends, really? Are you sure?
Oh, I think everybody's friends. I'm friends with everybody.
I love her. She's awesome. She's so easy to tease.
Yeah. I am actually. So anyway, I'm actually not very good at the whole flirting thing, but I have a lot of fun like writing like awkward situations, and Ashley helps me out a little bit about like, okay, this is how we flirt, this is what's done. And so anyway, this is really fun, but this resource is really fun. But another way to, if you're finding that you're having a hard time getting those emotions out, and you're writing exposition like Ashley says sometimes she does, where you're like, I'm sad or whatever, think about playing charades. What does that emotion look like?
How would you play that?
How would you play it out? What would your body language look like?
Wasn't that something that we heard on a podcast from Bethany Wiggins?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that lady. She is so awesome. Okay, I'm going to continue here because I love desire. Trembling. She was just trembling with desire. Lowering one's voice when speaking. Leaning in forward, leaning in closer. Moving closer to erase distance. That's basically the same thing. Okay. Relaxing one's posture. Okay, I did not know that was a thing. Facing the object straight on. This is kind of fun.
Desire.
Yeah. Do you want to read some?
Okay, so let's see. I don't know which ones you read here. Holding breath.
I was read here.
Oh, did you read that? Okay.
Facing the object straight on. Eyes shining.
Eyes shining, glossing over, and softening.
Show me that.
I don't know if I can really do that very well.
Eyes softening what?
I know.
That doesn't really make sense. I kind of disagree with the whole eyes softening.
I don't know, like eyes softening, that would be like, because physically, would you really want your eyes softening? That could be really a bad thing.
Yeah, it really
If your eyes were softening, are they going to actually function?
I think what they're talking about is how when the pupil dilates, like when you're interested and attracted to somebody and you see something beautiful, your pupils enlarge. And I think there's a better way to describe that, like his eyes darkening rather than softening. I think there's better ways to describe that than what this has just suggested.
Yeah. Well, it's always not a good idea to really with your eyes. You need to be careful how you talk about that, because if your eyes are on somebody, are they physically actually on someone? You need to be careful with that. But that could be another subject for another time. But
especially when you're talking to readers who are new to the English language, they don't get all of our euphemisms. And so if you're writing specifically for an audience, like say you have a character who in your book who is from Brazil or whatever, that could actually lead to some very funny moments if they don't understand the euphemisms.
Yeah.
But if you're writing for people who are from Brazil, who are new to English, then it could be a very bad thing. It would make your book look very sloppy. So.
Like, for instance, my family used to live in Germany, and my mom, after a meal, said she was full, and the lady that was serving us, she actually thought my mom was pregnant, because that's a way of saying that you're pregnant. So.
Yes, I'm stuffed.
I'm stuffed, yes. They think that you're actually pregnant. So, yeah, it's something you got to be careful with, those little language barriers.
And there is a place where they call napkins diapers, and so...
Well, that could be bad, too.
That was really funny when one of my friends, they served a mission in some place, and the person asked them if they wanted a diaper after dinner.
Oh, no. That would be a little awkward. So you can use those fun things for a little comedy in there, so that's good. You
can. You just have to remember who your audience is. Okay, so... slightly parting the legs. Ooh, I didn't know that meant I like somebody. Usually I clench my legs together when I like somebody, because it's like, I'm really turned on. I mean, I understand if a guy spreads his legs. I don't understand if a girl spreads her legs when she likes somebody, because I typically get all tense down there, and it makes me like arch my back and squeeze my legs together, and
I haven't noticed any of this. So I'm like I said, I'm a little on the flirting. What would you say? Like, when you're illiterate. Yeah, flirting illiterate literacy. It's a thing apparently. So sometimes you need this kind of book for yourself with this kind of thing.
Well, she punched him in the shoulder. It's not exactly flirtatious or desiring or sensual. It depends on what you want to build up. If she punched him in the shoulder, it's like, yeah, we're friends, we're good buddies. It doesn't really show the whole, I'm in love with you, I want your body, I want to, strip you naked and run feathers all over you. It's sorry.
I have a playful flirt, I guess. It's like it went over my husband. Somehow it worked out. So my flirting literacy worked out for me. So we're all good.
Yeah, it actually is better to be friends, first, and before you get into the whole stripping somebody naked. Apparently, I read studies.
Friends is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Build that relationship.
Speaking of, you did skin flush, so skin
flush.
Oh,
I have done that skin flush thing, yes.
I made her skin flush recently when we were talking, and I was talking about stripping off clothes. So, yeah, that's apparently...
Yeah, I write clean romance, so this is...
And I write erotica.
And we're friends.
We manage somehow. Becoming inarticulate. Ooh, I didn't know that. I'm going to have to use that one.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
Increased swallowing. I don't know if I would use increased swallowing. I would just use he swallowed or she swallowed before speaking or something. That definitely shows a sexual tension, an attractive tension. It doesn't really show that you're actually already with the person. I like it for in the pre-dawning of a relation, like the pre-relationship. The tongue darting out to touch or lick the lips. I love it when books use the word lick. I don't know why, but that's like one of my hot buttons. I just love lick.
Yeah, that's why I have an ice cream scene in my book. So that's really fun. That's about as close as licking that we get in our clean romance, right?
You're a clean romance.
Yeah.
If I were to write a clean romance, it would be so dirty. Terrible. Okay. Knees loosening and feeling weak. I don't know if my knees actually ever feel loose. That seems weird. My knees do buckle a little bit. So when you read through books like this, I want you to just kind of think about your own experiences and be like, does this really work? I mean, is the author serious here, or are they just putting that in there because they have no idea what else to write?
So another suggestion that I would think is actually a great idea is watch your favorite show and just have a notebook beside you, and when you see those emotional parts, then go ahead and, oh, I have hair in my mouth, lovely. So, yes. So, and when you get to those emotional parts, just like write down the body language that you're seeing, and we got some great actors and actresses out there that you can just use as a resource to write in your book.
What's one of your favorite actors or actresses to watch and see their expressions?
My emotions. I'm trying to think here. Put me on the spot. Why don't you go first, and I'll try to think of one.
I love Lauren Graham. Gilmore Girls. She is Lorelai.
Oh, she's great. Yes.
I love the way her eyes light up and the way she flirts and tosses her hair. She's just so good at making those emotional connections with people, and she's such a warm person. I totally admire the character of Lorelai in Gilmore Girls. I just love that show, period.
Oh, yeah.
P.S. If this ever gets back to Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino, I have a very huge suggestion. I really desperately need you to write a spin-off of Gilmore Girls about Dr. Geller. I love Paris Geller as a character.
Oh, yeah. She's a great character.
And since House was canceled or gone, we need another doctor show, and Paris Geller is the prime candidate for me. What about you?
Yeah, I love her. She's great. She's like, her character is so spot on about just how rigid she was and how awkward it was for her to be social. So I didn't really enjoy her character. It was fun.
What I loved about, I think they should write her, because she was thinking about going into law or medicine. Why I think she needs to go into medicine, she hates sick people. And it would just be such a great comedic flaw to have that, you know. And she really needs to be going through a divorce with Doyle because she's too intense. And I don't know. I have this entire script in my head, and I'm just not as good of a writer as Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino when it comes to the dialogue. So you guys need to write it. We desperately want it, right?
Oh, I'd love to watch that.
Yes.
That would be very fascinating. So
it would be amazing. By the way, if you're learning how to talk man in your books for the female writers out there, watch House MD. He's a great person to watch to get your male dialogue down. Okay. Responding immediately when called upon. What? I understand the responding immediately, but when called on. You explain that.
So when they say your name, I guess you just do like, hey.
Well, like, I understand, like, if you're writing a naughty teacher scene and the teacher asks a question, pick me, pick me. You know, that I get, but, like, what? That doesn't happen in a normal situation. So, yeah. I wouldn't put that. I would put responds immediately physically, like her heart responded immediately to him, racing rapidly. Maybe.
So what's the next one?
Touching and holding an object close.
Yeah, like in one of my scenes, he's actually playing with a piece of paper and it makes the character kind of a little bit uncomfortable. So
because he's all stripping it.
Not exactly like that, but he's just.
I'm making you blush.
I know, she really does. And I easily blushed. Yes.
Okay. So, a slow smile that builds. I don't know how to slow smile, and I don't know how to make it build.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, trying not to smile, and then just having it unsuppressed, like, gradually relaxing into a smile, but I don't understand how to stand the whole smile.
It reminds me of a tip if you're in pageants. We used to have to put Vaseline on our teeth to make sure that we were always able to smile and our lips wouldn't, like, get all, because you get all dry when you get nervous. It's like your lips, like, halfway here.
Which is why you lick your lips, is because your lips get dry when you're around somebody you like, because what happens is this called? The nerve endings fire in your lips, which dries them out because you basically have electricity running through your lips, which is
I love these like random facts that you know. It's so fun.
Yeah, well, it's how you find your lover in the dark, your lover's lips in the dark. It's because you actually create a magnetic charge with your lips, an electric charge, and they connect magnetically. It's really cool.
It's interesting. I can always find my husband's lips in that